and welcome back to Sarah's Spare Corner. My name is Sarah. I am the host of Sarah's Spare Corner. Sarah's Spare Corner encompasses gaming, as well as theories, concepts, and ideas, as I am a philosophy major and traveling places when I'm not poor. But today we are working on my fourth one, which is arts, crafts, and various different forms of creativity. I have a convention I'm going to, which I haven't been to a convention in 10 years, so I'm a little rusty. And so to get back into the world of cosplay and creativity, I thought I would give myself something a little bit more simple to work with. Not to say that I can't work with something heavy, because I definitely have. Heavy, I mean more complicated. I mean, I finished my Zelda costume in a week, and I'm not exaggerating. It was a week. I don't recommend it. But in order to get back into the flow of things, to remind myself why I liked cosplaying in the first place, we're going to try something a little bit more simple. And I think I have gone with the idea that I'm going to do Orihime Inoue. I don't really know if that's how you're supposed to say her last name. I mean, I know she ends up marrying Ichigo, so I guess you could say Orihime Kurosaki. Or at least being with Ichigo. Anyway, so what I would like to do actually is spend very little time on the costume, but focus more on the wig making. And I know, again, her hair is kind of simple, a couple of strands of hair that she has, and really define those ones. And also kind of give her a little bit more of like a volume at the bottom of her hair, like most anime characters do. So maybe like a slight curl, but not something heavy. Just something that, like, you know, is a little bit more fun to do. I'm thinking out of the two photos, I think I'm gonna do this one. I think it's a little bit more fun. I'd be able to work with the bags a little bit more, even shape them properly. And then the other pieces will kind of just be easier to throw on. I can put a pair of jeans on, and a pink sweater, and then a white bandana. And then like the hair I can define a little bit more. But what I'd like to do is get her iconic hairpins, more some of like these kind of clips. And in terms of how I'm going to incorporate it in the photo, it'll be kind of the clips that are like right below the bandana, maybe even hold like a couple pieces back while the strands are still like in place so that you can tell it's her hair. And what I would like to do, if possible, so again, like I'm probably just going to go to Value Village, find a pink sweater, wear some skinny jeans, and like a white bandana. Like, that's not hard to do. Find a white apron, again, not hard to do. But I will probably make a leek. I don't know if you remember this meme from early 2010s, maybe late 2000s, where it was called leek spin, and not to be mistaken with something else. But it kind of went... So this was the video back in the day, and you just watch this. You know what? This was definitely mid-2000s. But this video was huge when it came out. This is actually Orihime, and it's such a funny meme. I think about this all the time. So I think I'm gonna make like a really big leek and just carry it around with me. Maybe I'll have like a grocery bag and have this leek in it, and then I'll just pull it out for photos and stuff like that. So I still have the hair clips, and I'm still gonna look Orihime. I think this would just be kind of silly and fun to do. I probably could just make this out of paper towel roll or something like that, but this is what I would like to do. What we're gonna do from here, because I've kind of decided I'm gonna do this, and also I want to know, like, just one side note. Why is it when I go on Etsy and I write Orihime bleach, all I get is censor? And when I write hair clips bleach Orihime, it's still censor, and I don't get any clips. I don't understand that. Etsy used to be the place where I would get anything I needed that was just like weird and random. But now it's just censor. And maybe it's because everyone loves to sexualize Orihime, which, by the way, y'all are sick, because she's a teenager throughout the entire show, or manga, but then I guess like the author kind of sexualized her a little bit. But you know what, a little bit is, you know what, let's not talk about this. It makes me mad. Anyway, so I'm thinking what I'll do is today we're gonna look for the wigs, because that's what I think we should look for today. I definitely found some clips. Looks like my best bets are Alibaba, AliExpress, and Amazon. I don't know if I want to scroll down further because I feel like censor show up. Unfortunately, I have 2 wig pages set up. We have artawigs.com. I haven't bought anything from Arta in years, but when I used to buy wigs, it would be from this website, and it's good to know that they're still doing really well and still highly respected within the cosplay, drag, and fashion community. And we also have Epic Cosplay, which was, I also bought some wigs from prior. Oh, they already come pre-clamped. That's fun. So I think the color that we should look for is more of like a coppery wig. So let's search Arta first based on color. And I think we should do one of these tones. Now, Ichigo has a darker orange than Orihime. Hers is more of like, well, according to the anime, he has more of a, I have to double check. I'm like, is there anything inappropriate on this page? If I'm to move myself here for a second. So Orihime has more of a darker, a little bit more of a true redhead. Not to say that Ichigo's not a true redhead, but his has maybe a little bit more of a strawberry blonde, where it looks like she is more of a deeper red. So I'm thinking that we go for more of a true red when we go for her. Not like a cherry red. I'm thinking more like maybe this tone here, or even this tone, because it looks like Ichigo might be this tone. So maybe we look for this. Fire orange, tangerine, sunset maybe. Let's open both of these just to see how they compare. So fire orange, this is all the wigs we have. Mary Classic. We would just need something that's definitely longer. There is the Jareth. It looks like it's quite layered. That's it. Oh, I guess you can't see. Okay, move myself because I didn't realize how this page was kind of like layering itself. The Jareth long might be more what we're looking for because she does have longer hair. So it might be the best bet. Let's look at Jareth. It also is quite layered from what it looks like. Let's see it in like a different color. Yeah, so there's quite a few layers, which means if we want to add some emphasis, some like oomph, it will be there. And it's a back order item. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Might need this soon. But it is a really nice wig. I wish I had pictures of it in that color, you know, because I think we only have these colors, crimson and rusted red. But that is fine. And then in sunset, it doesn't look like there's many sunset wigs right now available. So let's see. That's a nice orange. I don't know if that's great for Orihime. What we could do for Desperate is this no, we could buy this now. We can like straighten the wig, but I don't want the bangs. That's kind of the problem. And we could try this one even, but this is a back order item as well, which And then this is a silk wig, which I don't know if we want to work with silk, but it might be a little bit easier to work with if we have no other option. The sunset would be, I think, a really nice hair. All right, now let's look at Epic Cosplay. So I want to see what colors you have. Do you give me like swatches, or is it just like these photos? It's a little bit harder to tell, isn't it? This is a nice wig though. This autumn orange. I feel like this would be perfect for Orihime. There's the Persephone. This one has a lace front, which I don't need to worry too much about that because the bandana will cover the forehead line. But there's also the Eros. This is a little expensive. Oh, and that's also, yeah, that's also a lace front, which makes sense why it's so expensive. Let's try to organize this a little bit better. So we're looking for more. So there is the straight. We want long wigs. And I don't really care which one it is. So there is two. There is this one and this one. What did we open up? So we opened Nyx, which I definitely think this would be the wig if we had to choose, because this is a really nice looking wig. And it's kind of got the way that Orihime's hair goes down is kind of like a very tapered kind of hairline. This is the autumn wig. And then there's the Persephone, which we were already looking at. Let's look at our options. So there's the Jareth, which this is a back order item, which means it could be a while before we receive this item. Then there is the Venus, which I don't know. It's a really nice wig. Like really nice wig, but I don't know if that's too much hair. And then there is this one, which is cheaper, and it based on the length, that's exactly what we would want. So I'm thinking more we go for this wig. Let's see what it says. Autumn orange long straight wig. This wig is an autumn orange long straight wig, perfect for cosplay like Asuka. in Evangelion, Orihime in Bleach. Wait, hold on, I'm gonna move myself, but it literally says right here, it's perfect for Orihime in Bleach. So how can I not choose this wig? I think we have to buy this one. I mean, to be fair, I'm Canadian, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to pay like through the roof for this, but I really think this is a good wig for Orihime. So I think we're gonna go with this wig for now. And then in terms of hair clips, anything would just work fine, I think, in this position. Even just like these Amazon ones, which I can just ask someone to pick up for me because I don't have Amazon anymore. Okay, so I was gonna just paint today, but I figured I just stole this tube from one of my wrapping papers for like gifts and stuff like that, and before I throw it out, I might as well just make the leek. So I'm gonna use this photo as reference based on where she's holding it, which I guess probably do it from this hand. So we're doing it like here, right? Here's my hand. Her arm is like about here, okay? If we're talking proportions. So I think the leek then would kind of like, that would be way too big of a leek. I don't know, that doesn't seem right. Cause like, to be fair, her head's really large and her body's really tiny and the leek is also really big. I'm thinking we make the leek maybe here. Oh no, but that's just the body. Cause then what I wanna do is I wanna use modeling magic and then kind of spread out the piece that way. So maybe what we're thinking, chop the leek here and then we'll make the arms out of the modeling magic. So that's what I'm thinking. We'll chop it right here. And then you're going to join me while I make this leek in modeling magic. I honestly forgot what size. I think we're doing like here. There we go. I have to figure out how to spin this, you know? Spin the leek. This is gonna be wild. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our first of many voiceovers. I apologize in advance for the many voiceovers. Actually, it wasn't supposed to be mostly voiceovers, but the original video was actually 3 hours long. So I figured I'd cut out more dialogue. So there's actually gonna be quite a few times where there might be a voiceover or just music playing. And you can see that my mouth is moving. And the truth of the matter is I originally just talked over a lot of these footage videos, but I did not want this video to be 3 hours long. So instead it's 1 hour and 7 minutes long. So here we are working in this first one on the leek. Now, when I first did this, I was not happy with the shape, truth be told, but I tried to actually make it look more like the anime photo, but I realized it was actually a bad idea. What ended up happening with this particular leek is I wanted it so that while I was walking around, it wouldn't get damaged. Like if I bought an actual leek, I guarantee that thing would be smelly by like day 2. So let's just carry something around, make it. Unfortunately, a lot of people at the convention thought I was actually cooking mama. It was actually really bad. One person was like, cooking mama. I'm like, hi. And then my friend's like, you didn't correct them. I'm like, you know what? I've seen the amount of faces that these people have made when I've corrected them and they feel silly. So let's not correct them this one time. There were a lot of people who thought I was cooking mama. There was one person who I knew who knew what the meme was. They were like, you're that meme girl. I'm like, oh my god, you got me. But they were like, I've never even seen the anime, but I know the meme. I'm like, heck yeah, this is what I want. So I think what I did for this day is I just built the base on this particular leek, and I was like, well, let it dry and then maybe I'll think about it later. That's kind of how this originally went. So you can see me fiddling, but eventually I think I just kind of add the pieces and let it dry. So I wasn't gonna like really record today, but it looks like my wig came in, so I'm very excited. Also, this is the base for my leek. I think it's officially dry because I was kind of waiting a while before I touch it. I'm gonna paper mache it, turn it into something a little bit more strict. But anyways, I'm gonna open this off camera because I don't want you to see my address. Okay, here it is. Honestly, this looks like the perfect Orihime wig. Like, this is literally her exact color. Okay, I'm gonna put it on quickly. Just wanted to see what it looks like. We're gonna style it, of course. I just want to see what it looks like right now. This is honestly so funny. Obviously, this is an unstyled wig, so like, I'm not gonna keep it like this, but like, wait, what? Why does this actually look like Orihime's hair? I have to set the wig properly. I'm not holding it on properly, but picture this, okay? I know it looks like a woolly mess, but like, we're gonna have like a white bandana, okay? We're gonna have her hair clips to clip these back. I don't know if Orihime is really, I'm gonna be honest, okay? I love Orihime's character. I just don't think I have the face for her. But I think maybe if I just really contour my neck, like, anyway, this is fun. I haven't worn a wig in such a long time, and this is so cool. Again though, like, I need to do some styling because like I look like Shaky Dog or something. Oh, but my god. Okay, I haven't had an epic cosplay wig in a very long time. Has it always been this soft? Like, bro, it's so soft. I was going to make a paste between glue and water, and then I just thought probably just use Mod Podge to add tissue paper to this, because that's the next step of this. So that's our next goal. But before we do that, I do want to show some things I got in the mail for Orihime. I mean, I'm considering maybe buying eye contacts just to elevate my eyes, because Orihime's is a little bit more lighter than mine, but she does have brown eyes. But that is, we'll see if I have it in the budget. I have also gotten in some scissors, some proper hair cutting scissors, because I've needed these. I've cut wig hairs with like a pair of scissors I had. Not a good option, don't recommend it. These are specifically for my wigs. That way they can be left alone. The next thing that I got is a hair bandana, because Orihime is in the picture that I use is wearing, and this looks like it's made out of cotton, so I'm pretty happy about that. And then lastly, I got her little hair clippies, which I guess these stupid pictures, warning, whatever, are in the way. But we've basically gotten everything we need in. I also have the apron, but anyways, we're working on the leek today. So that's what we're gonna do. Clip 2. So on this particular day, I decided I still am not sure what I'm doing. So I'm going to just prepare this by making paper mache. So I didn't say it in the first voiceover, and maybe I said it in some of the other clips, so I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but the product that I used for the base, obviously paper towel, and then I used something called modeling magic. When I was preparing to make a bigger armor cosplay over 10 years ago, someone online suggested using modeling magic, and I didn't really get to use it then, and well, I did use it, but it didn't dry, so this time I wanted to make sure that the product actually dried properly, and then to seal the modeling magic properly, I decided that probably paper mache is going to be the best thing to hold everything together, and it was. So we're just going to let it dry. I am now preparing here to start getting to work on the wig. Here we are. This is Orihime. She is quite tangly, which is kind of my fault because, you know, I was playing around with her, I guess. But we're going to work on that first. So I did bring her brush. Actually, it's not even like her brush. It's my brush, but like it's a wide toothbrush. I only use it for wigs so it doesn't get too gross. Just gonna move her over slightly. Please ignore the mess. So if you can see here, I'm clearly talking over this. The reason why I decided to do a voiceover instead of talking again is because otherwise this footage would be very long. So here, in this particular day, I just focused on straightening out the tangles that seem to come out from keeping Orihime in a bag. So instead, we are just going through this. Now, this was before I purchased a proper regular brush. This was before I purchased a comb. This is before I even got the wax in, the got to be glued product. So here I just wanted to start with a base. I can't remember if I was doing this just to see what I had to work with. I think actually it might have been possible that I was brushing this so I could prepare this to wash it. I think at this point I still wasn't even sure if I wanted to wash the wig first before working with it, but I think that's what we end up doing next actually. So I think we're just gonna leave myself to explain this shortly. Okay, but good to know. That's how it looks. So I want to put in these pieces and just see how they're sitting on her head, because this isn't technically part of the reference photo. But I feel like, how else would you recognize Orihime but for her pins? So it's been a long time, but generally what you would do is these wigs are sewed in by individual pieces. What I'm going to look for are the bang pieces specifically, like what weft they're attached to, which it looks like if we were to separate this, okay, they're attached to the front weft, which attaches to, of course, the hairline there, which I know is out of focus. What I would like to do is measure my hairline. So if I want the bangs to sit here, I gotta measure the forehead line. So that's roughly where I want to sit. So where it is actually kind of right where her brow is. So if I'm thinking about how I'm going to cut this properly, right? What I would like to do is, again, leave these top pieces styled, okay? And then these pieces underneath are the ones I'm going to be pinning back, because these ones are a little bit more safe in terms of what ends up happening, right? I could use a couple more pieces just to kind of line the cheek a little bit more, so like there, and then pin the rest back so that it's a little bit better. So we are back at working on the leek. We're gonna finish up doing that paper mache at the top. Basically, I didn't finish this part because I wanted the bottom piece to solidify before I went into the top. Obviously, not everyone uses paper mache or as much as when they did when they were kids. So here's a fun fact. Even once it's dry, not modeling magic, paper mache is sticky. And it will forever be sticky. So there's probably a way to fix that, probably using maybe baby powder to kind of, you know, get rid of that stickiness, or even cover it up with something else. I think it's also because I was using modeling magic or Mod Podge, pardon me, to solidify that. Again, if you haven't used Mod Podge is, I love this. It's so wonderful, but it is basically like a glue sealant. So even once it's sealed, it's still going to be sticky. So keep that in mind when you're using Mod Podge. It's okay as a sealer, but things are going to get sticky, and you'd probably want to use something to kind of remove that stick. So now we're going to get into a different part. I actually did end up washing the wig with detergent. This is me showing you what I did because I totally forgot to film it. So I kind of showed you here, I kind of dumped it in and out of the water a few times, and then I was just going to let it sit for a couple of seconds. And then, actually, I think I ended up letting it sit for 24 hours because that's specific to what it said. And, oh, I think this is a little bit of out of order because here I'm brushing it, but actually I needed to rinse it first. So obviously I rinsed it first, realized this was a bad idea and it might get tangled. So I took it over to my shower and rinsed it out with the hose. And then I went in to brush. And now we're going to go back to the video. Okay, so here we are with the wig. I don't know if you can see this or not, but her hair is quite staticky, and you can probably see it here, even how my hand is just collecting the hair. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray her down with this little bit of hairspray I have. Thought it was a big can, turned out it was a smaller can. And then I'm going to spray her down with some of this heat protectant stuff. Not that I think she really needs it, because I know that she's synthetic, and so there is a heat resistance to it, but I still want to be careful. So I'm going to do that first. Now what I want to do, if you can see here, the hair is kind of going out and I would like it to curl in. So I'm going to blow dry the hair now with this. Just a tidbit here, not that you really need a tutorial on how to blow dry hair. I kind of use the strands between my index and my middle finger and curled them in as I was blow drying them so that the edges wouldn't curl out. And then I also just went back in with the blow dryer to make sure that it curled inside and not out. My original plan was to get a crimper, but it turns out those are a little bit more expensive than I thought. And since I've already spent past my budget on this costume, and I still have to actually buy the clothing pieces, we're just gonna invest in a different time on a crimper. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to attempt to crimp with my straightener going all the way down, kind of like this. We'll see if that works. I think I did attempt crimping later with my straightener, but I honestly can't remember if I did because I realized instantly it was just not going to work. So instead what I did is I went blow dried inwards. I grabbed the hair kind of in a clump and then kind of pushed them in towards where I wanted them to go. And that seemed to solve some of the outward curling problems, as well as making Orihime's hair a little bit more straight. I still wanted to add volume, though, because, you know, it is a thick head of hair. Here, if you can see, I'm kind of pushing in, again, the edges inwards. I realized when I was brushing with my hands, I was actually encouraging the hair to go outward, and that seemed to be an issue. So I brought in the brush, and that seemed to solve the problems I was having with that particular problem, or like that particular ends curling issue. And then here I decided to go flip my wig inside out and spray it with Got To Be glued, and then like on the inwards I should say, and then brush the wax through. And it says specifically on the bottle to be careful because the heat might be too much for your hands. I didn't seem to find an issue, but it might have been that maybe I was blow drying further away. And then I went back in to make sure that I was combing the Got To Be glued through thoroughly. And then I backward combed closer to the ends of the wig head. So at least under, like around where the neck would meet the scalp, that there was a little bit more weight between the two. And that actually was, it did wonders for this particular wig. You can see here that I'm showing you where I did the back combing
Obviously, this is me trying to get some focus going on with my camera. But the backcombing, actually, I think was the best method that I used for this wig. Highly recommend it. You will see in a couple of seconds, though, there was a small flaw that seemed to come out from this. Obviously, when I used Got to Be Glued, I heated up again because it is wax, so you want to solidify the product that way. So I think, yeah, here it is where I flip it inside out, and I realize, oh no, when I backcombed, I also backcombed the outside of the hair. So I just pulled out the top pieces of the hair, so that at least the inside of the hair was pushed in, but the outwards was still having that, what is it called? The volume, if you will.
I can't trust my own pure reflection. When I'm blinded by your reflection. I can't trust my own pure reflection.
That's kind of worked it out. I'm just gonna maybe go over a little bit with this stuff just to get those pieces inwards. Naturally, probably have to do this again in the hotel every single night, also when I get there. At least I know what I'm doing, right? Like, this is also like testing out before we go there. And if like things work out while we're there too, like it stays this way, then, you know, we don't have to worry too much about it. But at least that way I know beforehand what I'm doing. I'm not freaking out at the hotel because I'm like, oh my god, how do I do this? And then I watch like 6,000 tutorials in the hotel. I'm not too worried about the top, honestly, because that's going to be covered by a bandana, so who cares about that? So what I'd like to do is just lift the top layer off and then tease a bit underneath. Hopefully that's an okay idea. I feel like you should have teased before doing this, but I mean, honestly, like, does it really matter? Orihime does have kind of more flat hair anyway, and it is teased on the bottom. You know what? It should be fine. So I'm kind of liking everything. The hair is going in the way I want it to, except for this like little piece in the back, but it's barely noticed. It's pretty straight back here as well. The hair is nice and kept in place. So next thing we have to do is trim the bangs. I'm honestly terrified. I'm gonna go get her bandana so that I also figure out where it's sitting and stuff like that. So here is the bandana. did iron it out last week. I honestly don't know. So I bought an extra large one just because I didn't know how much of the wig would be taken over by that. So this is kind of where we're gonna be, like this. So that's why I don't really care too much about the bangs and stuff like that, or even just like blocking this area, is because of the bandana gonna be there. So that being said, I think I'm gonna take this pin and I'm going to section off this hair here. And I'm just gonna shove the pin here so that the hair doesn't move past that or any hair goes in there. And then I'm gonna do the same with the other side. It's like Frankenstein. Not Frankenstein, Frankenstein's monster, dear God. You know how many times I've said Frankenstein and people have just like immediately been like, no, Frankenstein, Frankenstein. So it's like, oh my God. Yes, you're right. You know what? Slip of the words. I don't know why, but it happened. Orihime does have kind of like a side part in the later series. So her hair would technically be more like this, I'm thinking, but probably some of these under hairs would also have to move over there. So like here, I'm thinking. I'm gonna double check my photo just to make sure that I'm doing this correctly. So this photo is from the actual manga. From what I'm looking here, that's actually pretty much the exact part that she has, which is good for us. And then you do also kind of see these pieces go in. Now the picture I'm going for is I think more of a fan art. So shout out to that person, or it is the original artwork. I'm not sure. I haven't read this far yet. I'm kind of on book, but I'm very far past. I'm about to go into the 1,000-Year Blood War. This piece will kind of go in there, and same with these pieces, they will go in here. That is going to be, I think, my first order of business. Her bangs don't look too puffy, but they're already pretty thick as is, so I don't think I have to tease them or anything. But I do want to trim a couple of pieces so that way they kind of like hold together, because even this piece, like this piece here, it would kind of be cut here and then I would hold it in place there, which is why we have plastic on the ground before us here so that it can catch all these little hairs. So I'm actually going to move Orihime back, that way it can catch the little baby orange hairs. I'm gonna be honest, I think it's actually starting to look like an anime wig. Especially with these two pieces. I think I really like those two pieces being kind of curved on the side, which she kind of does have that, where she has like two pieces on each side. This one is a little bit shorter, but that's okay. Like, it really isn't that big of a deal. Actually, yeah, because that one would come to about here and this one. But technically her bangs weren't that long anyway. Like, the wig didn't come with super long bangs. And then these ones also as well. What I'm gonna do, because you might be like, why are you cutting her bangs? So when I was younger, I used to cut my bangs like this, actually. And Orihime, in some parts of the series, even though she's always had like her hair parted, as if you had bangs once upon a time and then you parted them. So that's what's kind of going on here. So what I'm gonna do is actually straighten her bangs to go behind her hair there and probably pin them in place. And then I'm going to use the glue stuff to hold these pieces together and then blow dry them that way. So that's what my plan is.
I don't know if it cut off or not, but I blow dried these two pieces into place. And they're kind of drying, but they look really good. So now I'm going to go in with the bangs, and I'm going to hairspray them with the regular hairspray down so that if something goes wrong, I can change it. Whereas the got to be glued is a little bit more structured, which is exactly what we want. But if we want something to deal with some of these other small issues and then quickly make a change, we can with the regular hairspray. So. Did kind of mess these pieces up, but we can just fix that. Now that we've kind of have these going in a direction we want, now I'm comfortable to use the got to be glued. I'm liking how this looks. I think this looks really good. I think what I'm going to do is get some tacky glue, but I don't think I'm going to do that until the very end because I don't want to get tacky glue on my hands and then get it on the wig and then mess up everything I just worked on. Here is the side, which these two pieces need to everything just needs to come together like this. And then this just needs to be held down a little bit more. The bang is sitting in place, which I'm very happy about. The rest of the hair is holding up pretty well, I'd say. All right, and left is this piece, which I think I will turn into two different pieces. So one here and one here. I feel like this is turning into more of a Miku wig and less of an Orihime. Finally, all I have to do is let these pieces dry, and then I'm going to use some of my tacky glue to just hold the points together to make sure that they don't fall apart, because the overall structure is there, it's just the points just kind of want to go off in their own distance. But so far I'm really liking this. I'm going to grab that bandana again just to see how it looks. Oh, I'm seeing it. It's here. The nice thing is that hairspray kind of took away from that shine because there was a lot of shine on this wig. Kind of made it a little bit more natural looking. Obviously not natural, but not so shiny. I don't know how else to say other than shiny. It was shiny and it didn't look natural. It definitely looked strong, which is interesting because I think it's just because this is a more softer wig. This isn't silk though, so keep that in mind. I'm gonna spray the top just so that these hairs don't get out of place. Now we glue. Okay, so someone online, I was also watching Sarah Spaceman's video, recommended that when you do this, you kind of use something else. So what she used was 2 different painting palette knives to do this, to hold it in place and then do the other pieces. Maybe I should do that. I was gonna use this, but if I'm needing one hand to hold the piece down and another hand to go in, I might need
2 palette knives, so that's fine. I don't even know, like clay modeling. And then this one I think came with a paintbrush pack, so they're not like, it's not my best one, you know? So I just put a little bit on the tip here, and then I'm gonna use this to kind of sometimes I have you across the room. Of course, you don't know what's going on, you know? So I'm just kind of using the one to lift it up, and I'm gonna use this one to kind of bring in those pieces a bit. I want to kind of have it a little bit more rounded though, so far it's looking a little flat. And I do want it to go down more. Rounded and down, so more like that. It's this one right here. I feel like I'm playing with chopsticks. Not the same thing though, I know that. You know that and I know that. Okay, now we're gonna do you. Keep you in place. There's gonna be some there. I'm just gonna pull these out. Make sure they're actually going down properly. It really is amazing how one small adjustment, such as using a palette knife, can change completely the way you make wigs. Because I just had such a big problem when I was younger. Couldn't figure it out. But now it's like, well, of course you would use a palette knife. That makes sense. Keeps everything nicely aligned. I mean, to be fair, I was not a painter then. I had taken a couple of like painting classes, but I had no idea what I was doing. Now I actually have this skill. It comes in handy in times of this. I'm very happy with this. I've almost seemed to have a bunch here, and then there's also this bunch here, I've noticed. So I'm gonna add a little bit of glue to this bunch so that one doesn't fall out of place. It's definitely looking really good. Okay, now we have these two pieces. Seems like, there we go. The stand in one move. I'm just gonna wipe off the glue off of my palette knives so that it doesn't trail like goopy stuff. This one needs to curl more like that, and this one needs to go in like that. Not that that's really how it looks. Maybe it's more like that. So they're a little bit more closer together. I think that makes sense. We're gonna start with the longer one. Also, if you're wondering what I'm using tacky glue original. I think I got this at Michael's years ago. Still works, which is great. Doing this side, so then that makes sure that these two pieces are separate pieces, which is something that I really want, that are seen to go rogue. I think what I want it to do, I'm gonna have to add a little bit more glue in that corner there.
to make sure I got the glue even on the inside of the point, and that way the entirety of the point would have a good structure to it. I just need to straighten out these two pieces. So I don't mind that it comes out a little bit more, like there. Just have to make sure to actually like just pull you out a little bit more. So here's how it looks up close. I'm pretty happy with this. I'm just gonna structure a little bit more quickly because it obviously is drying right now. I'm not gonna touch this for 24 hours. I'm gonna let it sit. Here is the back as of right now. Got out of focus, there we go. I'm actually not gonna do anything else, I think, to this wig because I'm pretty happy where it looks, and the all of the wax and hairspray that I put down seems to be holding pretty well. There is this piece here which I need to do something about, probably hairspray that area a little bit better. Lol. Well, I guess we get to see how well that stuck or not. Natural teasing, my friends. Hey, actually though, that kind of held regardless, so that's good. Drop the whole wig upside down, and it holds pretty well. And also, I didn't get much tangles out of that. That would have actually been really bad for like tangles. Oh my god, that's funny. Okay, let's check these pieces. Okay, I think I just need a... This piece is, I think, okay, because we're gonna put in the hairpins like right here anyway, so. But I just wanted to make sure that I put them down properly. Now, since we dropped the wig, just wanna do another quick brush. Just go over some of the spots that were maybe like lifted out of place. It's not that big of a deal, but, and also like when I move this wig, it's not like it's not gonna have those problems anyway, but I still want to do it now. And now we just let her sit for like 24 hours. Just gonna dry, should look pretty. I'm probably gonna hairspray that piece down, but I'm pretty happy with the way she's looking right now.
Alright, so we are getting close to the end of this video. We are going to watch me finish the leek and finish my costume within a period of a week. That's right, I think I did this within a week. The rest of the video, that is. And then there's a couple of clips that are actually from the convention. So there is a thought that came to me as I was editing this video and watching my work and the way that I moved along things. Obviously, there was a little bit of uncertainty at the beginning because I hadn't used some of these methods in over 10 years. So I was uncertain for those purposes. But I was thinking about something, and I want to add a little bit of a preface here before I say this because I don't want there to be any confusion. But what I'm about to say, I'm kind of addressing it from a perspective of a 32-year-old, from a person who used to struggle with perfection, from a person who would overthink all my decisions all the time. Perfection really is for the people who don't have knowledge. Because if you know what you're doing, if you know your ability, if you have the capacity to have confidence in yourself, there's no reason why you should fear perfection. There's no reason why you should worry about whether or not it's perfect or not. Like if you see here, I redid this particular item several times just to make sure the shape was proper. And I wasn't worried about whether or not whether it taped or didn't tape down. And I also left it to not be sticky at some point because I wasn't worried. I was like, I'll fix it later, because I was confident in my abilities, because I know what I know and I don't have to be afraid of what I don't know. I know that might sound confusing. If you're a teenager and you're watching this, I want to make this clear. Like, I'm talking more from like when you're older and you know your ability. I'm not talking about like when you first started to draw and you're like uncertain of it because you just started to draw. Or, you know, somebody is maybe teasing you because you like to draw or whatever it is. You know, when I was a teenager, I remember I used to draw like cartoon girls all the time because I literally didn't know how to draw. But I did know how to draw cartoon girls, probably because I related to cartoon girls. And I remember somebody asking me if I was a lesbian. I was like, a lesbian because I'm drawing a girl? But the truth is like, I was really subconscious about that in my drawing and stuff like that because I didn't know my ability.
Okay, it is time to try on the wig. I'm actually really nervous. Also, I got my eye contacts in today, but I don't have any solution yet, so I can't do anything about that. But I'm gonna put on the wig with no makeup, and hopefully you will see my vision. Okay, so far I hate it. I feel like it makes my head look really fat. But we're not finished yet. We have the bandana, and we also have the hair clips to still put in. So I'm gonna take you with me to the bathroom. Also, like, there's this, which I'm gonna have to watch out for. Somehow, like, attach a clip or something to make sure that that doesn't peek out frequently. I think I need to get, like, a little pin just to make sure that this doesn't keep showing my wig head every now and then. Wig head? My wig cap. Like, if anything, it should be sitting like this, no? I also really like the way this is swept under this piece right here. I feel like it looks really good. I'm very proud of those pieces in particular. This piece, I think we can just move a little bit back, like these two pieces, even this one here. And I think it'll be able to, like, between this hair here and maybe we could just loosen up a couple of other orange wig pieces. We just cover in my brown hair and it would kind of disappear. Let's go try the apron. I think this is working out after I put the bandana in because it just didn't seem like there was much going on here. But I think once the breaths were in and the bandana was on, now this apron, I think it's coming together. But just imagine this with like anime girl makeup and like big lashes. You know what I mean? And eye contacts. And then a leek.
So I actually lied. From here on out is actually the week before the convention. But at least I didn't have much left to do, so I wasn't too stressed about it. Back to what I was saying about perfection, because I just want to finish this off without any misunderstanding. There is a difference between fearing perfection because you just started working on something, and again, you're not aware of your capacity, versus you're aware of your capacity and you're still fearing perfection. Like, that's what I'm talking about specifically. Because if you are able to do things, create things, imagine things, then you have no reason to feel for perfection. Because let's put it this way, even the universe is not perfect. If you look at the planets, the way everything is perfectly formed and shaped, and I know I just used the word perfectly shaped. I mean more like in the planets where there are the capacities to hold life. Even then, some of those planets that could hold life would not be safe for life. Things are not perfect in our universe, and that is actually perfect, that our universe is imperfect. So when you create things, when you make things, you don't need to fear perfection, because actually, when things are perfect, that is when it is imperfect. Now, to finish off our leek here, this is where I went in with the finishing of the Mod Podge, went over to seal it even more, because I was like, I don't like the way the shape of this leek looks. Again, I'm doing this within a week, so I'm checking like every day to make sure that the material has dried. At some point, yes, I tried to like chop up all of these individual pieces because I realized around the leek, that is where I'm having the bigger issues, is because I need more fine details in these areas, and I was having such crumped up pieces from tissue paper, so I cut them finely and place them nicer over here. And that is where I started to see more effects, which I get now why people used to use squares as paper mache. You know, I think I even said it earlier, or I was thinking about saying it earlier. I can't remember. I would never use the squares, but I ended up using the squares here, and that was actually more effective in the paper mache. So now we're getting close to the end. I'm covering over with gesso because now we need to paint this, and Lord knows there's no way I'd be able to paint this on a base of red if I'm adding green. It would just look awful. So we're going to use gesso to seal the first layer so we have a nice base coat to work with. Now, you don't know this later because you don't end up seeing it, but it does end up cracking a little bit, and the red actually does peek through, but it only goes to the base of the red. So after I paint with the gesso, then I paint with the regular colors, then I go in with, again, Mod Podge to seal in the paint. It ended up cracking all the way to the paper mache layer, but it did not go further. So keep that in mind. It could have also been that maybe I didn't have enough time to let it seal, but I don't think that's the case because I did let it at least seal for a day and a half before transporting it. And I transported it in saran wrap, I believe. Yeah, I think here I was like, okay, I need to get this done, but like it needs to dry. So I was just holding it, hoping for it to dry. But honestly, I feel really good about this leek. It's so silly, it's so cartoonish, and it's so much fun. I had so many people that were like, wow, like, did you make that? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, can I see that? I'm like, yeah, of course. I think in terms of prop making, leek is not the first thing you would think of a prop making. You'd probably think of a sword or something like that. I came up with leek, my dude. And I honestly, one of the best decisions I've ever made. So I think here it's dry again. Yeah, so we can go in and do one last layer of gesso. So the bottom, the way I did it is so that when it would dry, it would not get attached to that cork board material that I use. But the truth is, it still got stuck. I don't think it got stuck on this layer. I think it actually got stuck more on the Mod Podge. So here I'm actually using, I don't know if you can see that up in the left corner, but I'm actually looking at pictures of real leeks online. And what I did is I got all of my cheap paints that I always use for crafts from the Dollar Tree and the dollar store, and I went in. I tried to match as best as I could. I wanted to make sure that it kind of made sense in the layers. I made sure that there were certain parts that needed that additional color. They would get it. I also added a bit of a wash, like a watery color, because I wanted to blend these colors together. I honestly am so proud the way I did this. It makes so much sense. Here, I think you can see me going in with a bit of a wash to add and merge those lighter, like lime green colors in with the darker green color. Sorry, the camera angle is not so good. Sometimes I don't recognize until later that it's not so good. And yes, I feel like it really did. I was tempted to add a little bit of like hairs at the bottom, like for roots, but I think I determined that it might just be safe not to do that. I could at some point, I suppose, poke some strings through, but instead what I did is I just painted it brown. And then here I am going over with the Mod Podge to make sure that the proper product dries properly. And I go away to make sure it dries again. And now I'm doing the top because the bottom has sealed. And boy, is it looking nice. Obviously, this leek is shiny. Leeks are not shiny. You know, if you got a matte Mod Podge, this would not be an issue. But I wasn't going to go out and buy more things because I was definitely above my budget. And here it is finished. And we're about to go look at some con clips, and I'm going to peace out. So I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video.
This is literally my favorite part about end of the day of the con.